Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Yashodhanandana Jaya Brajana Ranjana Jaya Yashodhanandana Jaya Brajana Ranjana Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Yamuna Tiravanachari Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jaya Girivaradhari Jaya Girivaradhari Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare. Thank you, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Jai Shri Radha Girdhari Bhagwan ki Jai. Shri Jagannath Baladev Subhadra Mai ki Jai. Shri Giri Govardhan ki Jai. Shri Krishna Balaram ki Jai. Granth Raj Srimad Bhāgavatam ki Jai. Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Shri Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the assembled devotees, Hare Krishna. All glories to the lotus feet of Shri Guru and Shri Gauranga ki Jai. Jagat Guru Shri Prabhupada ki Jai. Shri Gurudev ki Jai. Hare Krishna. Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Bhutale Srimati Mahavishnu Goswamiti Namine. Namo Vishnupadaya Bhutale Srimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamiti Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharine. Nirvishesha Shunyavari Pashati Destarine. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Radha Shri Gaur Bhakti ki Jai. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram. Jai Hare Krishna. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Ajnana Timirandhasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Daivim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayam Mudirayet Nashtaprayeshu Abhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naistiki Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Jai Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki Jai. Grantaraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki Jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki Jai. Hare Krishna. So how's everybody doing? All are well? Let us hear from all of you.
All well.
All well. All well? Anybody is not doing well? Yes? Everybody's doing well, looks like. Very nice. Very nice. Okay. Right. So last week we had a big debate and a discussion, a role play on what? Do you know? On what?
Reincarnation, Prabhuji.
Reincarnation. Right, that's right. We discussed about reincarnation. We saw how reincarnation takes place. We saw from the layman's point of view where reincarnation could be understood by people on a step-by-step basis. Okay? Now we will come to the philosophy as Srila Prabhupada would explain that in a question and answer session with a reporter, Mike Robinson. It's very nice, very, very nectarian. So who would like to be a volunteer on reading from this for us, please?
Prabhuji, I'd like to read.
Would you like to read, Divyanshi? Okay, that's great. So here we go. And here we are, reincarnation and beyond. Yes, please.
Let's start, Prabhuji.
Please start.
In August of 1976, Srila Prabhupada spent a few weeks at Bhaktivedanta Manor, 15 miles north of London. During that time, Mike Robinson of London London Broadcasting Company interviewed him in his quarters. In their conversation, which was broadcast shortly afterward, Srila Prabhupada revealed that Krishna Consciousness is not some ritualistic ceremony of I believe, you believe, but a profound philosophical system in which the science of reincarnation is explained clearly and concisely. Mike Robinson, can you tell me what you believe, what the philosophy of the Hare Krishna movement is? Srila Prabhupada, yes. Krishna consciousness is not a question of belief. It is a science. The first step is to know the difference between a living body and a dead body. What is the difference? The difference is that when someone dies, the spirit soul or the living force leaves the body, and therefore the body is called dead. So there are two things. One, this body, and the other, the living force within the body. We speak of the living force within the body. That is the difference between the science of Krishna consciousness, which is spiritual, and ordinary material science. As such, in the beginning, it is very, very difficult for an ordinary man to appreciate our movement. One must first understand that he is a soul or something other than this body. Mike Robinson. And
Yes.
when will we... Yes.
Now, what is this difference between the science of Krishna consciousness, which is spiritual, and ordinary material science? You don't answer, I'll ask Parth, what do you think is the answer here?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Haribol.
Prabhu, the difference between spiritual and ordinary material science is that spiritual science is focused towards ultimate happiness, whereas ordinary material science is mostly dependent on acquiring knowledge through senses, right? And it's like very, very much biased towards sense perception and logic. So, yeah.
Okay, thank you. Goodbye. Soumya, would you like to try, please? Give your answer. There is right answer, nothing wrong with the answer. Yes.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Haribol.
Prabhuji, I think I'd agree with Parth as well. The spiritual science, it deals with the ultimate happiness, and the actual normal science, the ordinary material science, it deals with acquiring knowledge of all the material things that are present that we don't know about or anything that we can see.
Okay, thank you. Anandji?
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. Krishna Consciousness teaches us about who am I, what is my goal of life, what is soul, like these things, which material science does not cover. And in this way, this is different from material science.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Mayuresh, are you there, Mayuresh? Oh, I don't think Mayuresh is around. Yes, Mukunda. Mukunda is here. Mukunda, what is your answer, please?
I don't know.
Okay. Okay, thank you. Mukunda. Right. All of you gave me a nice answer, philosophical answer, you know.
Prabhuji, can I try to answer?
Yes. Oh, sorry. Did I not ask you? Oh, I'm so sorry. Yes, please, please.
That's okay, Prabhuji. I think Prabhupada said this in the statement itself, that the science of Krishna consciousness is about the soul, about the living force inside of the body, whereas the material science is concerned with the body. Like he says that there are two things, the body and the living force inside the body. We speak of the living force, we speak about the spirit, so the spiritual sciences, whereas the material sciences is concerned with the body, that is matter.
This is the point. This is given very clearly. You see, if you hear Mayavadis speaking on YouTube channels, they speak very big words, you know, very nice words. You speak big words, you'll hear big things, but you'll be not having any answer, you know. So ultimate happiness is what? What is ultimate happiness? Soumya Parth, what is ultimate happiness?
Prabhuji, connecting and realizing your constitutional position, your relationship with Krishna.
Yes, that's right. How do you explain this to a layman? Ultimate happiness is that Prabhupada is given here. Don't complicate things. Prabhupada is given very clearly, explaining in simple terms to this reporter. So there are two things. One is this body. Second is living force within the body. So we completely deal with the living force within the body. That is Krishna consciousness. And the science which you know deals only about the body, not about the living force. Is it not true? That's it. Right? And then we talk about happiness. We are happy only when we are at the spiritual level and all that. So this is the point of difference to understand very clearly. We can define what is spirituality and what is Krishna consciousness. Yes, and what are the steps for it is that we have to understand we are not the body, we are spirit soul. As spirit soul, we are only one, you know, we're part and parcel of Krishna. And as part and parcel of Krishna, only business to love Krishna. These 3-4 things are points, achievements. But this is the answer here. Could you repeat again, Divyanshi, and then we can continue with the reading. Thank you. Is it okay with everyone? Is this all right? Okay. Right.
We speak of the living force within this body. That is the difference between the science of Krishna consciousness, which is spiritual, and ordinary material science.
Okay, now,
as such,
one second. What answers you all gave was nothing wrong. The answers which you gave are given by experts. Okay, and this answer which Srila Prabhupada has given is given by a master, a teacher. You know what is the difference between an expert and a teacher? Tell me. Can you Google? What? Google. Who's an expert? Google. You got a phone with you right now? Can you do it?
Prabhuji, a teacher tries to explain difficult concepts to even the dumbest of the students, whereas an expert just knows and he's...
Okay, all right, that's right. See what Google defines. Your Google guru, how does they define expert? Can you check out anyone, please? No? I'll check out. Okay, hold on. Expert, a person who is very knowledgeable about or skillful in a particular area. The expert in healthcare. So having or involving a great deal of knowledge or skill in a particular area. Right. A teacher or an expert. A teacher is a person who can break down, or a master is a person who can break down complex situation in an understandable definition or words. Whereas an expert will use vocabulary, which is very high funda, and to follow an expert, you have to follow his vocabulary. Because you use your own, fundas on this, right? So what we want in our Hare Krishna weekend programs is that all of us should not become expert. We have to have mastery over these concepts or principles of Bhagavad Gita and Krishna consciousness. We don't need to be pundits for it. But if the concepts are very clear, then we can define it like this, like that, this way also, that way also, according to a person's understanding. We'll not just give one answer and that is to fit everyone. Okay? And confuse people by giving a vocabulary, no? So they say an expert is a person who borrows your watch to tell you the time. That's what they do. They confuse people and use you only, your things only, and tell you what about your things only. Nothing else. So you can become expert to make money. You can please do so. But privately, Krishna consciousness, we are masters. So here it is. So what do you guys do? What is Krishna consciousnness? If somebody asks you the question in your college, your friend, or whoever asks you, you go for an interview. You say, so are you a spiritual person? Yes, I am. What do you do? Well, I follow Krishna consciousness. Okay. So what is Krishna consciousness? Don't be baffled. Don't give them the process. We are not this body, we are spirit soul. We are spirit soul, we are only part and parcel of Krishna. This is like, okay, this is the process how to follow. Follow this, Prabhupada says. See, in the world there are two things. First is this body, which we all have. And inside the body, there's living force. Don't talk about spirit soul. They'll fight. Living force, they'll not fight. There's living force within the body. We speak and we understand this living force. That's what we do. You see? So there's a philosophical research in it. There's meditation in this. Oh, tell me more. So what happens how do you find living force? That's opening for you. Yes. See, modern science deals only with the body. You say the same thing. Modern science there's a difference between modern science and Krishna consciousness. We say the same thing in a different way. Yes, modern science actually talks only about the body. If I'm sick, if I've got a headache, if I've got a heart transplant, they change this. Which is good, which is great. But we do a bit more on the life force which keeps this body organisms functioning. Hi, Soumya. Does it make sense to you? In your biology, in your medical also, same thing. This is how you're opening up, telling them what it is, and they say, "Tell me more." So how do you find out living force? So there's another good question. You see, because people say living force comes from the mind, from the brain, but it's not as simple. So where is mind? Can you tell me where your mind is? So you're giving the same philosophy in a conversation format. This is the best. This is what, whenever a question is asked to you, a person asks a question as a challenging question or an inquisitive question. You can ask, are you challenging me or asking me? And you have a right not to answer the question, right? But if there's a case, if there's a friend, you can have a conversation. Good. Understand this point? All of you are absolutely correct, right? What we want to do is a master is that person. Mastery meaning you'll bring it down to practical feel and touch things. So same answer Prabhupada gives this way, that way, everywhere. This is what we should be learning from Prabhupada's books there, and especially the original books, unedited books, This is the original one here. Okay? All good? All good? You guys are very, very smart. I was just thinking today, all you youngsters are so smart. All of you, so clever, so intelligent. We have to handle you very carefully, Intelligent people have to be handled in a different way. All right.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu. I want to say something, Prabhu.
Yes.
This is a revolutionary point you just raised about master and expert. And we tend to forget that why we are here, what our intents are. And you always say that you want us to become preachers so that we can. And the benefit of becoming master, rather expert, this is my realization, Prabhu, or that when we simplify things, it's very easy for us to understand, very easy to digest, very easy to realize. And most importantly, becoming master is more difficult than becoming expert, Prabhu. It takes time though. That's my relation, Prabhu.
Yes, that's right. That is right. That's why in our Wednesday program, I insist upon realization, not purpose. You see, here when I give a class, it's a different thing. Because the same concept, we have to spend time understanding it and explaining in a particular way. So for that, we have to explain to ourselves. That's why preaching is important. Preaching is for us. This is the only reason why. So that's great. Great. Okay, we continue.
Mike Robinson. As such in the beginning, it is very, very difficult for an ordinary man to appreciate our movement. One must first understand that he is a soul or something other than his body. Mike Robinson. And when will we understand that? Srila Prabhupada. You can understand at any moment, but it requires a little intelligence. For example, as a child grows, he becomes a boy. The boy becomes a young man. The young man becomes an adult, and the adult becomes an old man. Throughout all this time, although his body is changing from a child to an old man, he still feels himself to be the same person with the same identity. Just see, the body is changing.
How has he introduced this concept of the soul? What did he say?
That the body is constantly changing, that a boy becomes a young man becomes an adult and an old man. So the body keeps changing, but the person still feels the same way.
Yes, he still feels he's the same person. Okay. So last week when we were arguing, when we were discussing this point, we said body changes, we said, where did the body change? Body is not changed. Of course, soul remains the same. The same way. So let's just like a child can run around, old man cannot run around. So body has changed. But the old man also feels the same youthness in him. Body is not cooperating. Am I right? He said, that's right. So this is the point. So there is something temporary which keeps on changing all the time. Everything in the world is temporary. But the soul is permanent. It never changes. Far out. It is not revolutionary thinking then. And you will be interested. Tell me more, Tell me more. Tell me more. You see, this is the point. It's great. It's freshness, Yes, please continue. Thank you.
Just see, the body is changing, but the occupier of the body, the soul, is remaining the same. So we should logically conclude that when our present body dies, we get another body. This is called transmigration of the soul.
See here now he introduces soul. He introduced soul before also, but living force was the main emphasis. In the very second sentence, He talked about the changing of the body. You feel the same. You feel the same because you are not the body or spirit soul. With antimatter. Okay, and then he says that similarly when you die, nothing really happens. The body changes, the soul remains the same. He's introduced that concept there about death, and the soul remains the same. Please continue.
Mike Robinson. So when people die, it is just the physical body that dies. Srila Prabhupada. Yes. That is explained very elaborately in the Bhagavad Gita, chapter 2, verse 20. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Na hanyate hanyamane sharire. Mike Robinson. Do you often quote references? Srila Prabhupada. Should I read the verse as well?
Translation here.
Yes. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
This is the particular verse. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Yeah, and then the naham bhutva, and the last is na hanyate hanyamane sharire. This is where all Indians and Hindus, any person born in India knows this. With Muslim, whoever, the soul never takes birth, never dies. Once is born, he doesn't cease to be. He's unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Is it not so? This is the point. This is the particular verse, 220. You must by heart this verse. Let's see this verse, okay? It's a very important verse. Okay. Can you all sing after me, please, along with me? Na jayate mriyate va kadachin. Please. Nayam bhutva bhavitavan bhuyah. Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. See, it's very beautiful meter also. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavitavan bhuyah. Ajo nityah shashvatoyam purano. Nahanyate hanyamane sharire. In translation again, for the soul there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain. Path knows this verse very well, is it not so? Your question on this verse. Right. Follow this translation, all right? Good, thank you. Yes, please continue.
Okay. Mike Robinson. Do you often quote references? Srila Prabhupada. Yes, we quote many references. Krishna consciousness is a serious education, not an ordinary religion. To a devotee. Find that verse in the Bhagavad Gita. Disciple. Na jayate mriyate va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita vana bhuya ajo nitya shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. For the soul, there is never birth nor death, nor having once been, does he ever cease to be. He is unborn, eternal, ever existing, undying, and primeval. He is not slain when the body is slain.
So here what happens? Prabhupada are telling him, yes, we quote Shastra. That means if any person speaks something without authority of Shastra, he is bogus. Just like a lawyer says, my client is innocent because according to this section, this law, this year, it is written there. And he would say that in that particular case, in that year, that was a judgment. So that's why it's called something which is proof. Lawyer cannot say, my client is innocent because I'm saying so. The judge will say, get out of here. Is it not so? So that is called praman. What is it called? Repeat after me. Praman. Say. Yes. So if any intelligent person in Shastra, if you speak, they say praman. What is authority? The authority is this. Najayate miyakdeva kashin. That's why we may not be very expert in remembering all the verses. Okay, I'm not an expert at all. Expert is forget about mastery. I'm not even an expert, you know. So, but if we know the links of it, it's enough, you know. In the Bhagavad Gita, it is mentioned. I'll come back to you with the answer, you know, and search out and you find out the things. You see, best is Prabhupada said that you must remember the verses. Because remembering verses is very, very important. These are the important verses which you must by heart, you know, day out. It's our bread and butter. Yeah, to be master about this. So this is the point, praman. So when you hear somebody giving big bhashan about God and all those things, if he's not giving references, that's bogus. And many times he will give a reference, something in Sanskrit, which one he will not follow. Forget about other people. He makes something out, he says something nonsense. You can say, so where is it mentioned? Can you give me a reference, please? It is in, you know, so Puran, so much Puran, Bhavishya Puran, that Puran. This place, I said, what is the verse reference? Because you should know Bhavishya Puran doesn't have much authority. Shiv Puran, well, give me the reference. No harm. You see? Otherwise, bogus, you're wasting your time. Devi Puran, this Puran, that Puran. He said, I don't believe. But there are other people here online, YouTube, big followers they've got. He said, I don't read Bhagavad Gita. He just speaks on by logic, you know. But what nonsense, man. Logic, anybody, he's a good logician, no doubt about it. That doesn't mean he's a good spiritual person. He's just a good logician. Logic. And logic meaning no religion. Jesus, Lord Buddha was logician. He preached on only logic. You understand, all of you? So even we have to understand logic also in scriptures. But the main fundamental thing is praman. What is the reference? And remember the law is reference. So the law will say whatever he wants to say. So in logic, I may keep arguing till the cows come home, man. Because for logically, what is right for you may not be right for me. And then we say, let us ask this third person, what does he feel? So the third person will think, hey, yeah, you are right. So they say he's right. His logic is correct. He's better. You see, logic has got no answer. You cannot find a solution by logic. Although Krishna consciousness can be understood by logic also. That will also come in this. Right now, remember my words. Prabhupada explains Krishna consciousness by logic also. It will come. If Prabhupada says, what are you talking about religion? I'm just talking logic now. Don't talk about religion. Prabhupada says this in another interview. Because depending upon a person, a master uses whatever he wants to use. So in ISKCON, when there was a question of female Diksha gurus, for ladies who become Diksha gurus, you know, I objected to this, you know. So we had some person arguing with me, devotee. I said, listen, so your logic is, he wrote to me. I said, no. I'm not writing or talking logic. This is written in the scriptures, so I'm merely repeating. These are the verse references. Read. Female Diksha gurus. But they always want to bring in logic. I believe, in my opinion, it should be like this. So nobody's reading scriptures today. So this bogusness is going on, fighting nonsense. You see? That's why Prabhupada immediately brought scriptures. आनंद जी समझे आप? आनंद जी आप ये बात समझे? You have got experience, you understand. तो ये तो बात समझ में आती है ना, बोलो कि प्रमाण क्या है उसका बताइए, यहाँ लिखा हुआ है देखो. ओके ओके ठीक है ठीक है. All right. Yeah. All good? All understood? All right. Even our big devotees. Yes. Always ask praman. No praman, don't waste your time. We have enough. Prabhupada is enough for us. All right. Great stuff. Let's come now. Thank you.
Shall I continue?
Yes, please. Yes, yes.
Mike Robinson. Thank you very much for reading that. So can you explain to me just a bit more? If the soul is undying, does everybody's soul go to be with God when they die? Srila Prabhupada, not necessarily. If one is qualified, if he qualifies himself in this life to go back to home, back to Godhead, then he can go. If he does not qualify himself, then he gets another material body. And there are 8.4 million different bodily forms. According to his desires and karma, the laws of nature give him a suitable body. It is just like when a man contracts some disease and then develops that disease. Is that difficult to understand? Mike Robinson. It's very difficult to understand all of it. Srila Prabhupada. Suppose somebody has contracted smallpox. So after 7 days, he develops the symptoms. What is that period called? Mike Robinson. Incubation? Srila Prabhupada. Incubation. So you cannot avoid it. If you have contracted some disease, it will develop by nature's law. Similarly, during his life, you associate with various modes of material nature. And that association will decide what kind of body you are going to get in the next life. That is strictly under the laws of nature. Everyone is controlled by the laws of nature. They're completely dependent. But out of ignorance, people think that they are free. They're not free. They're imagining that they are free. But they are completely under the laws of nature. So your next birth will be decided according to your activities, sinful or pious, as the case may be.
I want you to just think about what is written here. Maybe read again. Okay? Just take about a minute or so for this. Yeah? Is it okay? Anyone has any questions on this? You understood this concept? Have you understood this concept? We are completely dependent. But out of ignorance, people think they are free. This is very hard. Because a Coca-Cola ad says, you are free to do whatever you want to do. Your cigarette smoking ad says, you're free what to do. All wrong ads, you say you're free, express yourself, you're free. And for doing that, correct? They'll say break the norms, traditions, because you are free. So you challenge what is the traditions, right? Have you understood this? I'll ask you individually. Okay, then we'll move on. Nothing more. So now you understand these points? Do you have anything to say, or you want time to think about this particular paragraph?
Yes, Prabhuji, I understand it.
Good. Divyanshi, what about you?
Prabhuji, I have just one little question. That in one line it is written that it is strictly under the laws of nature,
Yes.
and in the last line it's written that your next birth will be decided according to your activities, sinful or pious, as the case may be.
Yes.
So how are these two things simultaneously true?
Yes, good question. The three modes of material nature, the laws of everyone is controlled by the laws of nature. Okay, this means that moment we are born, according to our past birth, we are either influenced by mode of goodness, passion, or ignorance. We are influenced by all three of them, and they are again divided, multiplied by 3, by 3, by 3, by 3. So it's very complicated. So that's why some people, and that's why there are different grades of consciousness. 400,000 consciousness, levels of consciousness. Okay? So the mode of goodness gives you particular kind of consciousness. Mode of ignorance in a particular kind of consciousness. Mode of passion, a particular kind of consciousness. And based upon it, you think, you act. There are some people who can lie to make money very easily. They're very good at making money. So you become businessman, they say. Right? Other person is very introspective, doesn't speak lies, very honest and all. So he's influenced by mode of goodness. This guy is mode of passion and ignorance. He wants to just make money. This guy says, no, for me, principles are very important. Money will come. Okay? So this is how the three modes of material nature are affecting our body, which makes us do activities, good and bad, sinful and pious. So this becomes sin or pious or sinful activities influenced by the mode of goodness, passion, and ignorance. Okay, as the case may be. And we get our next body. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Good. Parth, do you understand this paragraph?
Prabhu, I have a question. Not a question, but yeah, we can say that it's a question. But the thing is that, Prabhu, like if we associate with a particular mode, right? Like or the 3x3 matrix or whatever, but if we associate with a particular combination of modes, then won't we, by the laws of nature, be compelled or have a strong desire to be doing that thing again?
Yeah.
Like sanskar, like we call them sanskar, right? That
Sanskars.
exactly, right?
Absolutely right.
So Prabhu, like if and obviously my next birth will be also decided because of my modes I associate with.
Absolutely right.
Then in the next word, because I am associating with that modes, I'll be compelled to associate with them more, and I'll be going down and down, and not down, but I'll be trapped more and more. So Prabhu, how can one come out of this entire trap? Like, what is the way out? Because you're just getting trapped and trapped and trapped. So how do you come out?
Very good. Very good question. Very good question. Many years ago, I think it was in Europe or America, Srila Prabhupada were giving this same concept, same class, in a class in a temple. Most of the disciples are non-Indian. Yeah, at the time. One Indian gentleman was there in the temple. So I heard this from another devotee, okay, a Prabhupada disciple. So he asked the question, although he was not humble, it was challenging, but not very, very challenging, So he asked this question. Swamiji said, all these Western people, for them, having multiple sexual partners is like animals, They change the partners just like that. They drink alcohol just like that. They drink smoke just like that. They don't even think of what they're eating, Just grab something and eating. Completely obnoxious way of life. Now they have become Vaishnavas, wearing saffron dress, vegetarian, chanting Hare Krishna, reading Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, change their lives. So this is possible because of their past samskaras. Use the word samskaras, which you have used. Same thing. So the past samskaras must be bringing them to this. So it's talking about karma, right? Prabhupada said, what samskaras these people have? They have nothing. They're animal, completely animal. They sleep at what time, they wake up at what time, only money is their God. Prabhupada said, animalistic people, they have got no samskaras to come to Krishna consciousness. They are in Krishna consciousness because of me. Very rarely Prabhupada says such things. He said, no, what Swamiji, samskaras takes long to change, to implement on this. As you say now, like birth after birth, it just degrades, goes down. Similarly, say, how can it be possible? It is degrading. Prabhupada said, no, samskaras can be changed in 1 second, just like this. If you say to Krishna, I'm yours, you are mine, and act on it, the samskara is changed. But you require a touch of a pure devotee of Krishna. So God, realization, one cannot achieve on his own. Remember this one important point. Their independence we do not have. We have to have knowledge coming from disciplic succession. Guru Shishya Parampara, bona fide, and that parampara leads us back to Krishna. When we are in association with that parampara, then that knowledge is pure as long as it is not contaminated. Then what a guru says is what we say, is what their guru says, So what you say, you heard from the same thing. So you say the same knowledge. You cannot twist the knowledge, cannot turn the knowledge. That's the reason why with new people, all of you, we do not give class just like that. I make you read so that you can understand we are getting knowledge from Prabhupada straight. I am not speaking on my own, sitting like this, and you are like my subordinates, listening to me. Because you will never know if I'm cheating you or not. But by this, we are studying from the science of self-realization. Prabhupada's talking to Mike Robinson. You can always go back to this and find out. This is important in any teaching where parampara has to be followed. And initiation is done by the guru in the parampara and through knowledge first. That is our ISKCON way. Or with Prabhupada's way. Do you understand this point?
Yes, Prabhu, I understand the point. But I have a follow-up question. Can I ask? So Prabhu, so meeting with a pure devotee, it also comes with Sukriti, right? Meeting a pure devotee, is it dependent on Sukriti that you've acquired?
No.
It's just causeless?
Very good question. Yeah, good question. I don't know, you guys are very clever people. Normally, this kind of questions come much later on. You have to break their head for making them realize this point, and they ask this question afterwards. You are asking the question, ask me this question, and then you give the answer. It is good. It is good for benefit for others. We think that it's because of my Sukruti. Prabhupada said this. They are here because of me. So this particular conversation I've used in answering both the questions about samskaras and about pure devotee's touch is not done by any karmas. Whenever the devotee asks this question, I use the same answer, same example, it has got both his answers. So you have got in touch with this knowledge through whom, if you forget this, then you're a big rascal. Yes, you may become big devotee, that's all right. But if you forget who has worked hard on you, like your Tao has worked hard on you, you forget his hard work, you're finished. You may think that you are very good. You may think you become Gopi Bhav. But Krishna Mercy, who brought this to you, man? Who's that knowledge giver? Him over. Does it not make logical sense to you? This is how it is. So that is the reason why reaching outreach programs are very, very important. That's why we break our head, use our money find our ways, change our things. Our whole preaching has changed after COVID, seeing all of you here. So we are doing these online programs, you see. And we're not going to leave this. Because we can see sparks everywhere here. This is the reason why. Because Prabhupada, and that's why preaching is done on behalf of a pure devotee. That's why we always say, don't praise us, praise Prabhupada. Prabhupada says, don't praise me, you praise my Guru and Krishna. Do you understand this point? Never keep the praise. Is this okay?
Yeah, Prabhu. So, Prabhu, this is what is called causeless mercy.
Yes. Although many devotees dispute causeless mercy. Yeah, there are, because logic. You put logic in it, you bring all the things. We believe in causeless mercy, extreme causeless mercy. That's why we are here. Yes, that is true. If somebody is walking on the street and you say, oh, I buy a book. So say, I bought a book. He never showed me the book. But man, if he had not been there in front of you, how will you buy the book? You see? And unfortunately, people forget also who are the first point of contact who brought them to Krishna. The life changed. I used to write down the date, the time. I used to advertise in local papers, from a mantra meditation class. I must have a notebook somewhere here. And when people would call me, I would note down the date, name, date, and the time also, and where the life changed. Not because they came in touch with me, but because they came in touch with Srila Prabhupada's books. And when they became devotees after many, many years, I would tell them, this date, this time, your life changed. And they don't even know. Because they picked up the phone to call me and to say, what is mantra meditation? Can you explain to me, please? What's mantra meditation? Life changed. And they would come. So many examples like this. So that's why we are in a very, once you are in this process, this business, you will feel the shelter which no ordinary living beings will feel that shelter. It's magical. But be prepared to walk alone. Be prepared that you'll be called bad names. You'll be called ill names. Be prepared for everything. You will get the strength because Krishna is interested. And Krishna is interested because the whole parampara is interested. We may think that if Krishna will come down, or if the Prabhupada will come down, only these big devotees who are there, nice garlands, they will be, Prabhupada said, they are such nice devotees, they are doing best service. Who knows? Who Prabhupada will say, yeah, okay, that's fine, you're all right, I want to see that that guy there, Prabhupada will say, he is following me nicely. You got garland, so what? You see? So bhakti is not dependent upon anything material. And we are so foolish if we do not study these books of Prabhupada. I can guarantee you with my blood, I'll give you my blood and you write down. You will still be fooled by the numbers which other people have and you don't have. It's not numbers game. Because Krishna doesn't want numbers. That's what earlier class Sanjeev Prabhu said, Manusha Nam Sahasreshu. Out of many thousands among men, one will endeavor for perfection. And among thousands endeavor for perfection, one will understand me, who I am. And among them, one will understand, thousands of them, me as it is. Without doubt. So we are in a very different and difficult process. There is no other way. So to have right association is very, very critical. And that is the reason why reading Srila Prabhupada's original books are very, very important, even if there are some grammatical errors. Prabhupada says, if you don't read my books for 2 hours a day, I guarantee you will fall down. Believe me, Prabhupada are 100% accurate. 100% accurate in this. Prabhupada says, Guru Maharaj said this point. Prabhupada would say, if you don't read my books for 2 hours a day, I guarantee you will fall down. You fall down. Guaranteed you will fall down. And then what we do, we read Prabhupada's book, we say, Prabhupada is not talking about Gopi Bhav, you know. I'll go to that guru in Vrindavan. He does nicely Gopi Bhav, you know, dancing like this and all. Because you're not studying, foolish person. You know, we're not even memorizing the verses. You see? This is the point. Is it not so? Tell me, you like Bollywood movies or Hollywood movies, right? Correct? So if you like some movies, some songs, you remember the song? Is it not so? You memorize that song? Kuch na kaho, whatever you go, you know. Hey, in a shower you are dancing. Hey, mommy says, wake up, get out. Yeah, oh, right? Is it not so? Because you like it. You're enjoying it. Same way we have to enjoy this bhakti. And that's when you remember and memorize the verses. This is the point. There's no other way. Whatever I told you, if you forget this, it's for your own peril. You'll peril if you forget this. So we will record everything. So we'll go back and see, listen to this again. Because everything what I'm speaking also is personal experience and guaranteed with my blood. Okay, is the question answered?
Yes, Prabhuji, thank you so much.
Good stuff. Now, who's remaining now? I need to go very quickly move. आनंद जी, आपको ये समझ में आ गया ये पूरा?
Yes, Prabhuji.
हाँ, कुछ क्वेश्चन है इस पर? कुछ नहीं ना? ठीक है. I just want to hear if you understood the whole concept here. Right. Mayuresh, good to see you.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah.
Yes. Is this clear? Is this paragraph?
Yeah, Prabhuji.
Any questions for you on this?
No, Prabhuji. Yeah, good.
All right. Now, who else? Mukunda is here. Mukunda, you there?
Prabhuji.
Yes. Any questions on this? You understood the whole concept this way?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Our dependence and how we are ignorant?
Yes.
Good. Wonderful. Wonderful. Did I miss him? Did I miss Divanshi? No. I asked you, right? Okay. Okay. All right. Please continue.
Your Grace, could you go back over that just for a minute? You said that nobody is free. Are you saying that if we live a good life, we in some way determine a good future for ourselves? Yes. Srila Prabhupada, yes. Mike Robinson. So we are free to choose what we believe to be important. Religion is important because if we believe in God and lead a good life, Srila Prabhupada, it is not a question of belief. Do not bring in this question of belief. It is law. For instance, there is a government. You may believe or not believe, but if you break the law, you'll be punished by the government. Similarly, whether you believe or don't believe, there is a God. If you don't believe in God and you independently do whatever you like, then you'll be punished by the laws of nature. Mike Robinson, I see. Does it matter what religion you believe? Would it matter if one was a devotee of Krishna? Srila Prabhupada, it is not a question of religion. It is the question of science.
You know, here, Prabhupada are answering this, saying it's science. Okay? All right? He started off by giving science as an answer, right? Okay. Other place, Prabhupada will say, we're not talking about science, we're talking about religion. Same concept he speaks in religious point of view, not science point of view. Because science is bogus, Prabhupada would say. Third way he says, we're talking logic now. Don't talk religion and science. Let's talk about logic. But Krishna Consciousness is logical. Okay? So we'll see from all different angles. Right. Please continue.
It is not a question of religion. It is the question of science. You are a spiritual being, but because you are materially conditioned, you are under the laws of material nature. So you may believe in the Christian religion and I may believe in the Hindu religion. But that does not mean that you are going to become an old man and I am not. We're talking of the science of growing old. This is natural law. It is not that because you are a Christian, you are becoming old. Or because I am Hindu, I am not becoming old. Everyone is becoming old. So similarly, all the laws of nature are applicable to everyone. Whether you believe this religion or that religion, it doesn't matter.
It's law. No? It's law, science. Everyone's going to die.
Mike Robinson. So you're saying that there's only one God controlling all of us. Srila Prabhupada. There's one God and one nature as law. And we are all under that nature as law. We are controlled by the Supreme. So if we think that we are free or that we can do anything we like, that is our foolishness. Mike Robinson. I see. Can you explain to me what difference it makes being a member of the Hare Krishna movement? Srila Prabhupada. The Hare Krishna movement is meant for those who are serious about understanding the science. There is no question of being science.
Understanding what science?
Science of the soul.
Yes, this science about the body and the soul. That's it. That's what we are doing. We are talking only about the science of the soul, not the body. Body science, doctors can say. Soumya can decide, He can operate on us. Oh, your heart is very bad. You must cut your heart out, chop our heart out, replace your heart, replace your nose, replace your eyes. Very expert in all this. So we are interested only in science of the soul. Living force. Great stuff.
There's no question of our being some sectarian group. No. Anyone can join. Students in college can be admitted. You may be a Christian, you may be a Hindu, you may be a Mohammedan. It doesn't matter. The Krishna Consciousness movement admits anyone who wants to understand the science of God. Mike Robinson. And what difference would it make to someone being taught how to be a Hare Krishna person? Srila Prabhupada. His real education would begin. The first thing is to understand that you are a spirit soul. And because you are a spirit soul, you are changing your body. This is the ABC of spiritual understanding. So when your body is finished, annihilated, you are not finished. You get another body. Just as you may change your coat and shirt. If you come to see me tomorrow wearing a different shirt and a different coat, does that mean you are a different person? No.
Again.
Similarly,
Again.
if you come to see me tomorrow wearing a different shirt and a different coat, does that mean you are a different person? No. Similarly, each time you die, you change bodies, but you, the spirit soul within the body, remains the same. This point has to be understood. Then one can make further progress in the science of Krishna consciousness.
Okay, just stop here. I think we should stop here. Yeah, we should stop here now. So I want to hear from all of you. Any one point which you are picking up from today's discussion? We'll start with our beginners program first, Yes. Soumya, I see you first. Parth is first. Parth, start. Any one point which you picked up today? Even if it is a reinforcing point, it's all right. If it's a new point, it's even better.
So since I am the first to go, so I don't have much time to think about a new point, but I'll
think it will hit you.
What is coming to my mind first is how, like, this is the first thing that is coming is how grateful I should be to the association of devotees and to Srila Prabhupada, that he's showing his mercy, and because of him I'm trying to live a life of a human being. So that is what is coming to my head. Yeah.
Yes. And devotees means your uncle.
Yes.
Specify. Devotee
Yeah.
is very broad-based. Credit has to be given where it belongs. That's good. Thank you. Soumya?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, I think what I learned from today's class, I think what is coming to my mind was that I thought that if, for example, if I'm coming in contact with a pure devotee, or if there is anything that is happening in my life, because of which I am practicing devotional services. Because at first, I do not have any connections from my family. No one is practicing devotional services. It is just me. So I thought if something is happening to me which is leading me to practice devotional services, it is because of my sukriti or like you said something. But then after Parth asked that question, I've realized that it is because of the causeless mercy of Krishna and any devotee or the pure devotees of Krishna, that it is because of them that I am able to practice any devotional activity that I am practicing.
Okay, lovely. Thank you. Yes, Divyanshi?
Prabhuji, I absolutely agree to the point Soumya Mataji made. I feel the same way because no one in my family also is practicing devotional service. And secondly, I liked how you emphasized on that we shouldn't make things complicated when we're explaining this philosophy to other people. Like we should break it down in a very simple and a very first of all the thing that you mentioned in the previous lecture about that how you should bring the other person to your playfield and then try to convince them, and secondly how you should break it down, not any complicated words, nothing that is difficult or too much for them to digest, just very simple science so that they can accept it or they can at least grow curious about it. And of course the point about reading Prabhupada's books 2 hours every day, that absolute guarantee that you gave, I think that is going to be a very big push for me to be able to read more and more.
Yeah, wonderful. You'll never be lost, Prabhupada will never be lost. Wonderful. Thank you. Anandji? And one thing.
नॉर्मल जो हम लोग की साइंस है, इसकी लिमिटेशंस, इसकी वीकनेसेस और कृष्णा कॉन्शियसनेस की स्ट्रेंथ, उसमें हम लोग स्पिरिचुअल लाइफ को समझ सकते हैं और सोल की साइंस समझ सकते हैं, साइंस ऑफ सोल समझ सकते हैं, तो वो भी उसकी स्ट्रेंथ समझ में आई इसमें.
Lovely, thank you. Mayuresh? And one thing you picked.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Bol.
So Prabhuji, the point that stuck with me is that it's kind of a question, Prabhuji. So we are associating with this three mode of material nature, or they are affecting us. So according to our association, we have this. We have the. According to this material nature, we are leading this life. So, and according to your actions, our next body will form. But Prabhuji, as you said, there is a we come into the contact with Krishna conscious by causeless mercy. So it is nothing to do with our sukarma or punya that we did, or good karmas. So, but Prabhuji, the pious activities or the other bad things we do, it is Prabhuji, a question of choice, isn't it, Prabhuji?
Yes, bad things you do is also a past karma and your choice.
That's so there is some free will that is given to you.
Yes.
So is that correct, Prabhuji?
Yes, absolutely right.
So everyone has a choice to decide whether to do good or whether to do bad.
100%. Yes. So this life is already predefined by your previous so many lives, actions. Yeah. But this life, everything is decided. How much money you're going to earn, what you're going to do, level of happiness, level of distress is all decided. But in that, how would you utilize your time? That is up to you.
Yes, Prabhuji. So, Prabhuji, one more thing. So this is Prabhuji. This is a causeless mercy that we came in contact with the pure devotees. So, Prabhuji, does that mean that everyone has equal opportunity to be in contact with the Krishna consciousness?
Clever question. Very clever question. This is what Christians tell. When I would talk to my friend, he was he said, how do you explain people are born rich, born poor. On karma we're talking about. No? He's a Christian preacher. He said, no, but everybody gets equal opportunity. I said, I'm not talking about equal opportunity. I'm talking about somebody born in a devotee family, be it Christian, be it Muslim, be it Hindu. He gets a better chance. Is it not so? I said, yes. Yes. All right. So answer to your question is, that is where our Sukruti comes into play. Okay. So to some extent, Sukruti also plays a role in our actions today, which we get, including becoming Krishna conscious. Remember this point. Okay? But majority is the mercy of the pure devotee. In the Bhagavad Gita chapter 6, Krishna says that when Arjuna asked the question to Krishna, what happens to that devotee, that person, Bhakti Yogi, who has practiced hard but could not complete his Bhakti Yoga process completely? He falls down, or what happens to him? So Krishna says, yes, that person, because of his good karmas, with Sukruti, goes to the higher planets. There he enjoys material opulences, big opulences. But after living there, he again, once those quantity of pious activities are finished, he comes back down into this earthly planet. Yeah. But in earthly planet, because of the past activities of Krishna consciousness, he starts again very lost. And he's born in a rich family, so he doesn't have to work hard to think about earning money. He can spend his time understanding his self-realization. Or he is born in a family of devotee, great transcendentalists, where naturally he starts to practice, like small children born in Krishna conscious atmosphere. They already chant Hare Krishna, they're playing, they talk about Krishna's pastimes, like you've got in your family, Navina, Sanjay Prabhu's family also, So children are getting their opportunity straight away. Right? So this is where it cannot be black and white. Till now I was trying to be black and white. It may not be black and white. It cannot be black and white. Majority is pure devotional service, is by mercy of pure devotee. But our Sukruti also comes where it may benefit us. But don't think because you've taken up means your Sukruti is beginning now. No. Sukruti will help until we finish. Right? And somewhere our family, our forefathers have done something better. So we are born in the genes in the family. We also get some benefit through their activities. So the process of karma and the process of Sukruti cannot be black and white. Life is not black and white. It's shades of gray. Yeah. It's just shades of gray. Is this all right?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Yeah. So that's the reason why many times I'll give an example of this. Once a disciple of Srila Prabhupada became disciple of Srila Prabhupada, okay? But he had a question. He said, Prabhupada, I used to, as a student, live in an apartment with other students, and there was a Hare Krishna center or a group above me. So I would see devotees coming and going every time from my apartment. Door open, you can see devotees go up and down. So, but I was never interested in joining them or becoming a devotee or asking the question. See? I began after many years of their experience, and then I inquired with some devotees on the streets somewhere, different place, and then I become a devotee now, Krishna conscious. So why did I not get that opportunity then? You understand this? Similar question for you? Prabhupada said, yes, because you are not ready. So this is the Sukruti we are talking about. When it is fructified, bang. So somebody gets it immediately. Other says, I'll take time. I don't know. Maybe not, So it is causeless mercy, yes, and our Sukruti also. So I want you to understand this point, all of you also. Good you raised this, because it was in my mind. How do I convey this Sukriti part also? So there's some Sukriti there. But you cannot negate the pure devotee's efforts. So only through the pure devotee's efforts it happens. And all other devotees who have worked buying Prabhupada's dictaphone, Prabhupada dictating, other devotees typing, then it is printed, somebody bringing all his life savings to print the books, then the books are stopped printing, and then there's again printing, again the books are changed, somebody gets other old, gets book again, edited, non-edited printing. So everyone is in a role to play. Yeah. So Vaishnava is actually that person who is Krutagna to everyone. He's grateful. He's not ungrateful. It is not words, not lip service. This is by fact he feels. Yeah. Is this okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Good, good. Everybody understand this point now? Based upon this, you have any other questions on what we discussed with Mayuresh? Did raise any questions to you?
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yes, Parth.
Prabhu, can you just please go over like just a small, maybe a concise form of how Sukriti and Causeless Mercy play together, like just in a nutshell?
There is one disciple of Srila Prabhupada by the name Prabhupada Das. So, very beginning, 1965, he came to the temple and he left. He said, I don't want to do this. So Prabhupada held him and tried to stop him at the door with a tear coming down from his eyes. Prabhupada said, please don't go. Don't leave this movement. Prabhupada did not say not for his benefit. Prabhupada said for his benefit. That devotees, the person's benefit. With a tear. He came out, he left, he still left. And immediately he went out of the streets, back alleys, and he was beaten up by some goons, nearly died. But he didn't join. He joined after many years back again. The Sukriti for him. The same Prabhupada met so many people in India, around the world. They did not appreciate his purity then, in India also. They were not ready. But those people were ready in America. Those hippies, illicit sex people, not bathing people, drunkards, pot drinkers, potheads, and so many. They were ready. And not everyone was ready. So the people who were there were ready, some of them, they became disciples. You get the point? Person is the same, method is the same.
Yes, Prabhu, thank you.
Neither and same, many of them had come to India amongst them to search for a guru for knowledge. They didn't find it, went back. They started to smoke here in India, ganja, they are marijuana, and they went back. They thought this is what it is. And when they saw Prabhupada, they said, this is the person I was looking for in India. Now he's in America. I don't have to go to India anymore. This is Sukriti. Pure devotee coming to him. Yeah? And Sukriti helping him. But other people, pure devotee going to him, not ready. So they don't join. They neglect him.
Okay.
Is it okay?
So Prabhu, Sukriti creates a base for causeless mercy to act upon.
No, whenever a causeless mercy comes, you will act on it.
Okay.
And it can be happening also that there is some Sukriti, that's why it happens. It's possible. But it is said that many times a person must have done something good for Krishna. So that's why some arrangements are made for him to receive it. It is possible. But there's an egoistic process. They may possible, that's all right. But that person is, how will you explain this? You're sitting in your home and a devotee comes to your home knocking and say, listen, become Krishna conscious. So your secretary called the devotee to come here. That's correct. But the devotee had to come here, no? Did you look for devotee? This is the point I'm talking about. Sukriti creates some situation favorable for you, but it's a causeless mercy. That's what I mean to say. There are cases that people will go on their own, searching for knowledge, absolute truth. I know those kind of people also. They're knocking. Explain to me. Find out. Tell me more. I want to know. Yeah. Those people are different. उनको वो अलग ही लोग हैं. They think differently, they act differently. They're not like us. Is it okay?
Yes, Prabhuji, absolutely fine.
Correct. Wonderful. All right. Anybody else? Now, Mukunda, what one thing you picked up today?
Today I learned that Krishna consciousness is not belief, it is science.
Yes.
The science of soul. And here we are learning truth and or the nature of reality. And one thing you said is...
It's a bit loudly.
Am I audible, Prabhu, now?
No.
Now?
Yes. Now.
That Krishna consciousness is already present in ourselves, inside us.
Yes.
We don't cultivate Krishna consciousness, we cultivate our false ego. That's what you said. And one more thing I learned is we have to understand the function of our soul and then act accordingly.
All right. Thank you very much. Thank you. Yes. Now, before we finish, all you big stalwarts, would you like to say something? Please feel free. You have to correct. You have to say.
Hare Krishna. One thing that I learned today was that the reading of Prabhupada's books is a true test and a true commitment in Krishna consciousness and a true test of how much one progresses in Krishna consciousness. If you constantly go back to Prabhupada's books, if you try and study sincerely, that's that shows your true commitment to.
Yes, we are learning from Prabhupada. That's why I say Prabhupada books. It's basically Bhakti Yoga to Krishna,
Yeah. Thank you.
Right. Thank you very much. Anybody else, please, before we finish today? We have to say something. Please feel free. Even our viewers from YouTube, if you like to give your realization, 1 point realization, if you're going to write down, you can write down on the comment section. So that'll be great as well. It'll encourage a lot of other devotees and people to read and write and listen. Any one thing which you picked up in today's discussion, you can just write down in the comment section in YouTube if you feel so.
Hare Krishna.
Yes, Haribol.
Yeah, I think similar to Krishnadas, I knew that if you don't read Srila Prabhupada's books, then you fall down. But I didn't know that you need to read it for 2 hours every day. So that's something that has struck me today. Yeah.
It struck me today also.
Yeah. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Okay. We'll finish today's discussion then. Jai. Thank you very much. Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Shishananta Koti Vaishnavindra ki Jai. Nitai Gaur Chandra Premanande Hari Hari Bol. Srimad Bhagavad Gita as it is ki jai. Kansat Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai. Shri Chaitanya Charitamrita ki jai. Okay, so who's going to sing today, Maharaj? Maharaj. Oh, it's Subhadra Devi's time today.
Yes, sir.
All ready now. Wonderful. Okay, we'll give you a speaker review now. All right, 1 minute.
Chalo.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
Maharaj, Maharaj, please hear us.
We have learned some real good stuff.
We have learned some real good stuff.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
Maharaj, we have learned one thing.
And today for you we will sing.
If our room is clean,
then our mind is clean.
then our mind is clean.
If our mind is clean,
If our mind is clean,
we can do anything.
we can do anything.
If our room is dirty,
If our room is dirty,
then so are we.
then so are we.
If we are dirty,
But if we are dirty, we're not happy.
Wasting time
Wasting time
is the greatest crime.
is the greatest crime.
Because wasted time,
Because wasted time
means a wasted mind.
means a wasted mind.
So best is your time.
So best use your time
When you're in your prime.
when you're in your prime.
If your whole life
And your whole life
will be sublime.
will be sublime.
If your wealth is gone,
If your wealth is gone,
there'll be nothing wrong.
then it's nothing wrong.
But if your health is gone,
If your health is gone,
that's a different song.
that's a different
But if
song.
your character dies,
If your character dies,
then the world will cry.
then the world will cry.
Only saintly behavior.
Only saintly behavior
Let humanity thrive.
lets humanity thrive.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Always remember Krishna
We must always remember Krishna
and never forget him too.
and never forget him too.
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
But how are we to practice this with so many things to do?
That is the greatest question.
That is the greatest question.
Here's the greatest clue.
And here is the greatest clue.
You must learn to look so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
You must learn to work so nicely that Krishna remembers you.
So listen very closely.
So listen very closely
And make your thinking sharp.
and make your thinking sharp.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
Let's learn how we can live and work so Krishna won't depart.
If something due tomorrow,
If something's due tomorrow,
finish it today.
finish it today.
Whatever's due today,
Whatever you do today,
do it now, don't delay.
do it now, don't delay.
Your friends might be lazy.
Your friends might be lazy
or doing bad things.
or doing bad things,
But if you think again,
but you think again,
don't follow them.
don't follow them,
You'll win the end.
and you will win in the end.
Whatever work we're given,
Whatever work we given,
we do our very best.
we do our very best.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
We only live with what we need and give Krishna the rest.
This is how to live. To work and to play. If you learn to live this way, you Krishna every day.
This is how to live, to work and to play. You learn to live this way, see Krishna every day. And when our time
When our time is up, you'll take us up above. We'll sing and laugh with him with a heart full of love.
When our time is up, He'll take us up above. We sing and dance with him with a heart full of love. So chant Krishna's name, his glories and his fame. It's the only way this world will ever become sane.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Now please ask this greatest question.
Find this greatest clue.
And find this greatest clue. You can only remember Krishna if Krishna remembers you.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Jai.
His Holiness Srila Mahavishnu Goswami Maharaj Srila Gurudev ki Jai. Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Param Vijayate Shri Krishna Sankirtan Mahayagna ki Jai. Jai Gaur Chandra Premanande. Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Mahavishnu Goswami Namine. Namo Vishwapadaya Krishna Vistaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhakti Vedanta Swamini Namine. Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pachayane. Nirvishesh Shunyavadi Pashatade Starine. Hare Krishna. Chant and be happy. We'll see you next week. Same place, same time. Krishna willing. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Hare
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol.